Hi, and welcome to The Perfect Show. I'm your host, Scot Maupin. Normally, this is a podcast where I catalog some of the perfect pieces of life, one by one, where each episode I examine something that I or someone else considers perfect. I say normally because I don't have the next regular episode ready just yet, and this one is about something that I am not claiming is perfect. But I still wanted to check in and tell you what I've been doing recently, give some updates about the show, and then proudly present what I do have for you this episode, a new Halloween song. So, let's get to it. First off, I tried to hook up my soundboard for this episode, but failed. When I started learning how to record podcasts, I made some drops or sound effects that I never really used. So now I wanted the soundboard so that I would have that option here from time to time and can give those drops a second life. But I couldn't figure out how to set up the audio to record everything at once, so I'm still working on all that. I know it's possible, but for today I'm going to go back in and add the drops after the fact. Boo. Speaking of which, seems like the perfect time for an announcement.
Have an announcement.
Right. So then, a few announcements. Up top is that I've added a new section to the website for the Perfectorium, the index of perfect things. It's a page where you can see a picture for each item entered, and then clicking the picture leads you to the web page for that episode. Pretty simple addition, but still. Right now there are only 4 pictures, but as things grow, it may be helpful to have a way to search visually instead of scrolling through a long feed of episode notes and media. The new Perfectorium can be found on the Perfect Show site, which is, of course, at perfectshow.site, and the Perfectorium is at perfectshow.site/perfectorium. That might be tricky to spell, so once again, check out perfectshow.site/perfectorium. Okay, and now the second item. Avrobot, if you would.
Have an announcement.
The Perfect Show YouTube channel finally has some content now. The YouTube channel is the same as the Twitter and Instagram name, at Perfect Show Show. But if you go to the show's YouTube channel, which is in the show notes, you'll find new lyric videos for the 3 dance songs from episode 4, the last episode. Each video shows the lyrics line by line as the song plays. I made them myself, actually, and that's part of what's been eating up my podcast time recently, because at the point when the last episode came out, I had never done any video editing. And so part of the time has been me teaching myself how to make and edit videos. So check them out if that's your thing. I think the videos turned out nicely. They're easy to find and share this way too, instead of just songs stuck in the middle of a podcast episode somewhere. I've added them to that episode's webpage too, so you can find them through the show's website.
Good job, Scott.
Okay. Those 3 videos were kind of a bonus side benefit because the real reason I had begun to teach myself video editing was to make a music video. So today I have a new Halloween song, and there's also a video component, but this is an audio thing, so I have the audio for the podcast. But I had an idea to try and make an animated music video for it, and when I hatched the idea 3 weeks ago, I'd never done animation or video editing before. I've always been an art guy, but mostly drawing and painting. Another driving factor was that a song about Halloween has a pretty hard expiration date each year, so I knew there was sort of an invisible timer counting down, and I wanted to see if I could get it done by the beginning of October, which, as I'm speaking these words, today is October 1st, so it worked. Hey, why do I even have a Halloween song anyway? Well, that's certainly a fair question. So where do I start this? During the pandemic, I started taking a sketch writing class, which was another thing I had never done before. I thought it would be a good opportunity to step out of my comfort zone, and it was. It also ended up very much becoming a comfort zone for me through the pandemic. Each week I would meet up with my teacher and a bunch of other writers, and we would share, read, perform, and riff on each other's sketches and just have tons of fun on a Zoom call for 3 hours of class. Then, each week for homework, we were assigned a certain type of sketch to write and bring to the next class, which was how we continually had things to read and discuss. It became something I would look forward to, and I really appreciated having something as simple as a weekly assignment to absorb some of my COVID and quarantine thoughts at the time. It was good to have to shove everything aside from time to time and be like, I'll think about that later. Right now, I need to do my homework. Strangely, very helpful. And then one week, the assignment was to write a comedy song. From the start of class, I had been keeping a Google Doc with snippets of sketch ideas, and when it came time to do my homework, I would usually springboard off something in it. What came to mind for the song assignment was a premise with a guy who is super scared of haunted houses, but a girl wants to go to one with him, so before the date, he just goes to the haunted house over and over, getting like traumatized over and over again, so that on the date night, he can go and pretend that everything's no big deal. Fun premise, right? So I wrote it up for class. It went well. I got good feedback and suggestions that I incorporated and did rewrites, but it was very much not Halloween time at that point. So I was like, what am I going to do with a haunted house song during the rest of the year? Well, the same thing as someone without a haunted house song. Nothing. So I put it away and kept writing sketches for that class. I also continued taking classes here and there when they were offered to keep up my writing habit. And actually, maybe at some point, I could make like an audio version of one of those and see about recording it for this. But we'll see. Oh, okay. Hey, Scott, how about you just focus on making regular episodes and not distract yourself with even more side projects just yet? Okay?
Classic Scot.
Yeah. So here's how the process went making the video. Unlike the lyric videos I was talking about before, this was going to be a full-on video with characters, a plot, and visual jokes that you can't get just from the audio. I did a couple of monster pictures for it early on, but most everything else has happened just in the past 3 weeks. The first week was just drawing. Animation is labor-intensive. You know that on an intellectual level, but you forget what it actually means until you start trying to make something yourself and how slow that process can go at times. I had storyboarded the video, so I already knew basically what scenes and pictures I would need, so I just buckled down with pencil and paper and started banging out the images as best I could. Now here's where a smarter version of me would have drawn a little bit of stuff and then tried to animate something small first to make sure it would all work, but that would have been a smarter version of me. What I actually did was draw image after image for a full week without animating any of it until I had a pretty hefty stack of paper, got all the pieces I thought I would need, and then shifted over to the computer. The reason why I did it this way was pretty simple. I was just scared of doing something I hadn't ever done before. I was afraid I would fail, so I turned to learning the software only when I had completely run myself out of other things I thought I could do without having to dip my toe into those waters. There are levels to animation, many of them. I knew from the beginning that what I was shooting for was a very rudimentary level, more like taking static images and moving, resizing, and rotating them than a traditional frame animation. I shouldn't say more like, that's exactly what it was. Like, it would be paper puppets on popsicle sticks moving around in front of a camera, the animation version of that. I'm using a particular program, Premiere Pro, so the learning part turned out to actually be something I never should have been worried about. Whenever I was stumped by a question of how to do X, or even if X was something that could be done, it was answered after a very short Google search, and then I would hop on to the next hurdle. Quick side note, if you haven't tried to learn something new outside of school or job context, and some people have had such bad experiences in those two places that they just don't, but if this has you thinking of something like this for yourself that you would love to learn completely for fun, you really should. I very much recommend the process. I was able to jump into a program I had never used, and without reading any manuals or books on it, I was up and running so quickly, doing things, making stuff, and seeing the results immediately. I could research the problems I encountered and find the solutions as I went. that learning experience is so different than being in a class where maybe you are constantly being loaded with information that you will be asked to recall at some later point in time. Okay, I know this sounds strange considering I was just talking about my positive experience taking classes, but for this, whenever I had a problem I needed to learn how to solve, I would go out and the information was like finding water in a desert. Even the small things I learned seemed huge because they would be addressing the exact obstacle I was facing at that moment, which also gave them emotional weight, meaning they should be easier for me to recall later on as well. But it was great. I really recommend learning a new skill this way, especially if you have bad memories of being forced to pick up something when it wasn't originally your idea. That description takes me back to playing scales on a trombone. Just hours and hours of blowing pure hatred through that horn. Anyway, back to making the video. So, 1 week drawing pictures, then 1 week creating the animations and video. The third week was mainly tweaking small things on the video and then adding the animated lyrics and trying to time the words with the song. I was more intricate with this song than the dance songs because I needed some words to appear at specific times for jokes, so that took a bit longer. Plus, this was the first one I made. The other ones came after when I knew how to do it, so I was learning how to do it at the same time as I was making this. Also, I do realize video is sort of an odd topic to pick for a podcast, but it has an audio component. I wanted to share it, and also I needed content for this episode. So when all of that aligned for this, I figured that the podcast police will let me slide on this one. I could definitely see myself doing more of these eventually, and maybe I'll save that kind of stuff for future interlude episodes like this from time to time. So yeah. It's up on the YouTube channel now at Perfect Show if you want to see it. And I wish you would. I'm really proud of how this video turned out, especially knowing where I started from and the length of time I made it in. I'd love for you to check it out if you can. So let's try finding it on YouTube. Hold on, let me type. So Haunted House song by itself is not enough to find it. Not surprising. There's no reason it would be on my brand new YouTube channel. But if you type Haunted House song and then my name, Scot Maupin, that pulls it up first. If you type Haunted House if you type Haunted House song Perfect Show, that also brings it up. So you can also try finding it that way. So now, here, in time for the upcoming Halloween season, is the Haunted House song by me, over beats by Rujay.
It's getting serious on this track, fam.
Well, it's Halloween season again, which means jack-o'-lanterns, pumpkin pie, picking out just the right costume, those big haunted houses, and maybe even going to one with your special someone. Hit the haunted house up every single day. I got a date there, but it's 3 weeks away. Add it all up, that's a lot of lines, but I won't be scared after 21 times. I start out and I always cover my eyes. These monsters use the element of surprise, so I steel my nerves, continue on my mission, become a tough guy through repetition. You can't scare me no matter what you do, cause I've seen all your tricks and memorized them too. But my girl will get scared, at least that's the plan, and she'll cling to me, cause baby I'm her man. I brag to my date how I don't get scared. She doesn't know it's only cause I'm so prepared. All seem pretty macho as I'm unfazed by the horror, but it's just because I took the time to see it all before her. Then a new part that was under construction just opened up today and it started to function. She wants to enter right away and I don't want to go, but it's hard to get an alpha male to say an alpha no. You can't scare me no matter what you do, cause I've seen all your tricks and memorized them too. But my girl will get scared, at least that's the plan, and she'll cling to me, cause baby I'm her man. Egyptian pharaohs walking double time. Seeing these mummies makes me really want mine. Count Dracula appears right behind my back, and I have to hide my full-blown panic attack. A clown holding knives with a chain for a belt, and my brain short circuits as it starts to melt. Wolfman grabs my arm cause I'm within his reach, so I scream like a dolphin dying on the beach. You can't scare me no matter what you do, cause I've seen all your tricks and memorized them too. But my girl will get scared, at least that's the plan, and she'll cling to me cause baby I'm her man. I duck behind my woman and I get real stressed. I guess you could say that she wasn't impressed. I slump down in the corner and I cry from fright. It's so bad they have to stop the show and turn on the light. Look, man, ghouls and goblins don't exist. There's no reason to be hugging on the ground like this. So dry up your eyes and also close up your mouth. Do you think if ghosts were real, they'd haunt a haunted house? I open up my eyes to the manager poking, and I get up right away to say that I was just joking. I'm embarrassed and I do my best to make it not seem sadder, but I look down and I notice that I'd emptied out my bladder. Neither of us spoke and it got real awkward. The vibe was killed and the mood was slaughtered. She left all by herself, I never stood a chance, cause if I get scared enough I guess I'll pee my pants. Man, I can't wait for Halloween to be over. Go on a hayride, a sleigh ride, have hot chocolate, marshmallows. Man, all that is better than monsters and vampires. Dumb Halloween, stupid scary time. Nothing scary about jingle bells. I just feel like scaring people isn't fun. It's really mean. I mean, who does that? Bad people, that's who. That place wasn't even that scary. So yeah, there we go. That's the haunted house song I made.
Bang bang.
And with that, nothing new gets added to the Perfectorium this episode, but I will remind you that it now does exist as a page on the website, which you can get to via perfectshow.site/perfectorium. That's perfectshow.site/perfectorium. See? I eventually spelled it. I liked my silly joke earlier is all. As always, you can find all contributors' names and links in the show notes or on the episode's webpage. This episode was recorded and mixed at Morena Studios in Oakland, California. Be sure to subscribe to get every episode, and if you are enjoying these and want to drop The Perfect Show a perfect rating or review, then please do. It's the easiest way to support the show. Once again, the Perfect Show site is at perfectshow.site. That's S-I-T-E. Email any comments, music, or other things to perfectshowshow@gmail.com, and connect on Twitter, Instagram, and now YouTube to the name Perfect Show Show. And remember, the Monster Mash came out in 1962, and it's somehow still the go-to Halloween song after nearly 60 years. Is it wrong to feel like it may be ripe for the toppling at long last? I mean, that one's about a monster who comes to life and then immediately starts a viral dance craze that other monsters do with him. Wait, hold on. That's also exactly what happens in Thriller, too. And I made a song about a tough guy who gets scared and pees his pants. I mean, well, now I'm realizing that if I wanted Halloween gold, I should have just sung about dancing monsters. Yeah. Anyway, until next time, I'm Scot Maupin, and thanks for listening to The Perfect Show.
I can eat 50 eggs.